I don't think, there is no public officials on the BZA, is there, John? No.
Well,
Or is there supposed to be one on it?
no.
Okay. So they're all supposed to be citizens members, correct? Okay. And John said, given where we're located, us three, that we need to kind of maybe try to find somebody on the north end of the county,
North
correct?
and west.
Well, that's where I'm at. I'm kind of north and west. I'm northwest of Salem.
I thought you were down in, why did I think you were on the north?
No, my son lives down there.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I live this direction, and I live just out past the county landfill, a couple of miles.
Okay. All right.
And I guess there's nobody in the direction of southwest, you say?
Anybody southwest.
Okay, so are the council and the commissioners looking into it, or is this something,
I think Todd's aware of it. The council was going to Keely Stengel. I told them I couldn't do that. So, be searching, but I don't know that they coordinated.
okay. So are we supposed to be meeting every month before the plan commission? Somebody brought that up.
The last couple of years, BZA hasn't really had anything to do. It's basically met at the same time as the plan commission. When they've had something to do, then they've met early. But you guys can, set a schedule however you want,
But I mean, is it mandatory that we meet every month, even if there is nothing on our agenda? Okay. So is the president need to be appointed before the other two appointees, or wait until afterwards, since there's no president of the BZA right now?
Well, you've got a quorum, so it's a 5-member board. You've got a quorum, you go ahead and select the chairman if you wish. Hey, Carol. John currently acts as the president, right?
Yes, but my understanding is he's not on it any longer, correct?
He's not one.
He's not on this any longer. Max is not on the BZA any longer, correct? Did you know? See, that was it. None of us knew this stuff happened.
I was wondering when he went up here, so I'm
Yeah.
He resigned effective last month.
okay.
That information should have been distributed.
Email, would have been email.
Was it in the email?
What was the date on that? Maybe it would have been talked about at the last meeting, but simply we didn't have one, so now the business is here.
It was forward and back in something, it's been back in August, anyway.
Well, that's still not that far back, so haven't missed a meeting, so that'd be about right. Yeah, it's October, so if it was late August, And we didn't aware of them in September. It's no big deal. As long as we know now, so nothing's happened where we needed to meet to, do anything.
Last thing we had was that
The only
dollar
thing,
store, and then we go
the only thing that came up was, we denied the dollar store thing, but the state has rule over that, so they approved it and it's out of our hands, so. Other than that,
Which we knew.
yeah, we knew.
We knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah. We kind of knew, so.
No,
You mean,
the state's just going to, no, the state can't approve a variance for us. What the state can do is give them give them access off of the state highway. What they wanted to do is they did not want to go through those steps, and they wanted to, so that's.
have the access to the county road?
I thought everybody knew, it was talked about out in the hallway, that even if we didn't approve that variance, they're just gonna go through the protocol set forth by the state and give the access through the state.
Okay.
So it is going in, which,
Yeah, and that's the best thing anyhow, because at least we've got, that's gonna come off Big Road, and there's like an extra lane there that comes off. So that's a good thing.
They say.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No rock and roll, no. That's what
Yeah,
we get for Christmas.
They may be humans, we're gonna have. So I guess at this point, we have to decide whether we're going to appoint a president or just wait until the council. Do they have a timeline of when they will have an appointment to the other two seats? I mean, it's not supposed to be done within 30 days, 60 days, it can just, I live by timelines. It's a lot of timelines.
That's like you said, the whole thing.
we would have to ask the president prior to someone to request a variance. Doesn't mean we have to have it. I mean, that's what we have to do official business. Have the president to call the meeting to order.
And what would be the big deal if the vice president called the meeting, and if we're waiting on someone to fill the spot, we still have three people, and it's not a,
Is there anything in the pipe, anything variances coming up in the pipeline anytime soon?
that I'm aware of.
So if we get an application for a variance, a permit, whatever you call it, can we then appoint a president knowing that we now have a business that needs to be addressed, or do we need to have that done before?
I would think preferable, you ought to have that in place. If you're gonna have a hearing, somebody presenting a variance petition.
So we
We
need
need to have a
You
structure board.
you should be organized.
Yeah, we need to have a structure board, so we need to go ahead and take care of that tonight.
You need, at a minimum, you need a chairman and a vice chairman and a secretary. And the chairman and the vice chairman will be from the BZA. Secretary could be, doesn't necessarily have to. I've been taking the notes for the BZA.
As the secretary,
Been taking the
we've
notes.
just been taking the minutes for them.
Keeping the minutes.
So do we have actual bylaws?
There are,
Have you ever seen them?
maybe once.
there are rules of procedure
Okay.
for the,
Is that the one that you said was on the city's or the county's website?
I think so. Well, yeah. I think it's on there. I've got a,
Again, you see numbers the other day, John, I
The
didn't.
selling contract I've got in my.
it may not be on the county
I'll just look at
website.
those real quick or whatever.
The one you got, April 4, 2016.
Assistant workers. Or assistants, or associated, so they can be in office. Office repairs. How long you guys been here?
That's a big deal. Texas on the law, that's no big deal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It actually puts on about reign supreme.
I know they took me off the plane commission. They have high school football thing down on the side of the use.
Actually live in America. Instead of Texas, which is pretty quick.
Have you got all their email addresses?
Well, hard to do.
I think that's what you get as far as chairman. You guys have been on.
Guys, I'll email you out a copy of that tomorrow.
This, okay.
But go ahead and work through it.
Well, I guess at this point, we need to just put it.
It doesn't matter to me.
Well, there you go. Yeah, okay.
Can we fix the copies somewhere? I'm just gonna get some copies made right now, that would be that, how about that?
I would like to as an expert, and I don't know, question on something that you didn't have a problem with, except I didn't know if I could talk to a person I shouldn't be talking to.
How many variances do you remember actually we've been after? I remember the turkey or chicken house variance. $2 and the dollar store variance. That's it, isn't it?
The article.
That's all I can
Very, very good.
I mean, we're not always years.
So is variances all that's addressed?
That's all we're trying, yeah.
That's all you address?
Yeah. And it's,
The way the county code is written,
They need to live within the jurisdiction. They live within the 2 mile range.
some portion of the building
So she's
code
not right now, she's in space.
variance requests that also.
Yes, she's in the law. You have to implement them.
Primarily, your jurisdiction's planning stuff. And what's going to happen, once this new zoning ordinance gets adopted, if it gets adopted, there's going to be a rash of variance.
And what I'm saying is,
See, and that's what concerned me, too.
is that I have loved
The issues on that.
Yeah. And that was one thing, because to me, with our development and how, what we see our future going to, and then the new zoning that's being worked on.
by numerous officials.
Like I said to some other people here, our community's not forgiving. And if we don't do something in line, we're going to be called out, and we don't want to make any illegal decisions. Just because one member shouldn't have been on the board.
We will get
That's why I questioned whether a council
Does that make
member can be on the board.
That makes sense?
All
Yeah, I know.
I don't think so.
You can
Yes.
go with this.
They're all citizens.
They're all citizens.
I'll let you have his call. You can look and listen to him in his presentation.
I don't care.
I know, but I'm done. I'm done.
You're more active than
As an expert. As an expert.
I don't know, but then at the same time, when you're in business, the kind of business you make the wrong decision,
Does it make sense? I think I'm vice president right now. I'm pretty sure I am. So let's say I'm vice president right now, and we got three of us. We don't know if two vote against something or two vote for something, that's the way there's a tiebreaker, what you want to call it. But would we just continue, and we could, you know, have a new,
well, we can't make any decisions, but without five, unless all three vote unanimous, you have a 2-1 decision. Or was that, that's not the case?
Like kind of like we did the last time.
Yeah, it's a,
Because if we had three, I think, did you vote for the point in on?
Yeah, I
You
did.
said, well, even we want that county road, so we want those three or one. Yeah, still keep one, then it still works. And
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then I just think if we wait, we're waiting on the commissioners to find somebody else.
Mhm.
And then somebody else comes on board, and hey, I don't know, if we just, you can call me anytime.
And I guess as long as you have a
For
quorum.
election, right? And if we want to, or if we thought that was even necessary.
Once you have a quorum, you can make a decision. Only if three or two, so if I'm somebody's quorum.
There you go. So, you know, there's those just simple things here.
Mhm.
Well, I think that now, mobile,
Right.
when we can move forward.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And it's election time, and that's all that's going on here. That's what's so aggravating. You know, we thought we had all this stuff here today on the, on the board. And then it was in the newspaper. And then we're here tonight.
what was in the newspaper?
If we're going to, we can live within the 2 miles zone or something, then oh, you can't be on here, but the county commissioners, you know, officially, that's like all this stuff, this weekend. And then, John has a lawyer, you know, he's getting paid, you know, not your election lawyer, so he's authority, and it all just goes over. And then bam, it's a newspaper that all these people are illegal, and it's all about people running for office. It's like, I told my wife, I'm not gonna get into this too much, but it's like, you know, it's they need to read the circuit, it's just, you know, they got their PR. Now, here we are again, I mean, I do something, I'm gonna do this all over again, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. But it's like, really, it was settled. And as far as I know, it's completely legal. In fact, I talked to one guy, Ben Bowling, which is, he's the smartest person in Salem on just about anything. He talks about these councils and stuff, and stuff, it's like brilliant. So it's like, you're correct. He probably was too, but he jacked, he said, no, he said that got, the state level, that got changed, just like the state came in and said, dollar short, go off and run. And we're not, you know, it seems like they are, they gave us a call, what they're doing, but they didn't, and it's just kind of, it's over. So it's like,
did you not expect that to happen?
well, I know they said that they probably have, but I don't know for sure, you know.
Let me backtrack. Beginning of the year, BZA established the heating schedule for the year that was the same as the planning commission. So that's what got published in the paper. Back in the year. So whether you meet at 6 o'clock or whether you meet at the end of the planning commission meeting,
we have a What are you gonna discuss?
You're not required to be, if you're not doing it. Notice it's posted. Go please, we say, there's no, that's something that just have to make everything. She's going to give gender notice.
So really, we need to,
Just let her know that there's no business,
that way.
nothing to be addressed.
We're not gonna
I'm not going to be.
need it.
Snuck in on me.
No, that's,
Stealth.
Sometimes it's good.
Did you get enough corn?
I think John's right.
I haven't got any corn yet.
Once this new zoning comes in, it's
Get it
Get inside or
going to see it well.
Talk to your spouse.
That's not gonna happen, but unless there's something drastic or, that I don't know about. Everyone goes past here.
Well, I think what he's saying is if that zoning gets, if the new zoning code goes through, there's probably going to be several instances where people are going to be, the properties are going to be against the zoning. And is that what you're saying? And they're going
No.
to have to seek variance in
No,
order to
when
clear
this new ordinance is adopted, if it is adopted, right now we've got two zones, residential and rural agriculture. Okay, got two zones. When this gets adopted, there'll be 12 zones. And each of those zones has got different requirements and limitations and
So some of the properties are not going to conform with the zoning. That's what we.
Already.
Has to go through you, right?
if property
And then if you get
doesn't conform with
that one's gonna see it, and that's the only, they're trying
You
to
do a variance.
they're trying to go over top of you.
and you get less work, you doesn't want to grandfather.
If you have less legal, they should.
But then there's a whole, there's a whole
If you
section.
see it, if you see it,
Or
they're
you
going
can
to then it's
a non-conforming use.
We should honor that.
Well, it's getting further.
How those will address.
For the process it started.
And that's currently on.
And then.
So where do you see possible variances?
2 years of them. Now, you're gonna have, we're gonna have variances maybe from confined feeding operations. Because that piece of the code was actually adopted before everything else had been looked at.
Is Tyson or Far West planning on expanding any more operations in the county? They are.
I don't know, are they?
So, it doesn't look like it.
I'm just, that's where you always are going to get your request for variance.
Well, Riverview may, Riverview, but I don't, Tyson, I don't think, but that's just rumors. Then we've got one possible variance that's been, the guy's been trying to fill out or make a decision for about 6 months. So that's really the only thing's out there, and that may never even materialize. That's with, where's your turkeys, Far West?
Far West.
Yeah. That's the only expansion
It's
I've
just
heard.
really changed in the last 10, 15 years where they were just going in. Now it's like it's staying still.
They change their size of bird is what's made the difference. From like a 4 something down to a 3 something. So, I guess it's making a difference, so. I guess y'all what we're looking at now, they've got 20, that's what I've heard.
And if they don't have it, then we might move forward.
And if you want me to, I'll try
It's
to
got the BZA as a head.
take those online
It's
side
nice
to get
that
with him to find out if anybody has been
in
appointed by either
request,
one of
because
them. Because if they do, then we can decide whether we want to defer this, we'll get deferred.
Yeah, so except for that one.
If another one gets appointed, just see.
I mean, we'd have the regular applications, but for something to go against the ordinance, we just haven't had.
It's like no work again, put it there.
Which is good.
Well, I just secretary in the meantime and try to stay in touch with them.
What time
Find
is
out if
it?
anybody's appointed.
6:30?
6:30?
All right, you know.
Get ahold of everybody. Is that good? Okay.
All right, so what do we decide?
Okay, so I think what we're thinking is we're just going to defer appointing any chairman or vice chairman for 30 days to see if the council or commissioners goes ahead and appoint somebody in that time period. And in the meantime, I'll just act as secretary, I guess. I don't know if somebody was secretary before, but I can act as secretary and try to stay in touch with Emily to find out if any appointments were made, and then we can decide whether we need to meet next month to reorganize, or, I'll find out where it's at. And then hopefully in 30 to 60 days, those next two appointments will be there, because we have nothing before us right now, so at least we have nothing pressing.
That sounds,
Is that good?
so do we need to make that in a form of a motion that we, that we're going to defer appointing the president and vice president?
That's right.
I'll make a motion that we defer 30 days.
I second.
That's all in favor?
Aye. Well, I'm not going to waste my time.
How you doing?
Thank you.
All right.
I sent out emails every Wednesday. So it's yours out and I post it.
So after I get that email, that's when you post it.
Yeah, and it's in the email, like whatever I email, that's what it's supposed to be.
So at that point, we can talk to you. We can have a reason to get you out there and that we're, going to use or not.
Yep. Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
So what's the plan?
That's the plan.
That's the plan, man.
You know,
See ya.
You can just be here at 7.
Put it in the, every day, every meeting I'm in.
Every single time.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
That's good as
That's
done.
my orders.
I'll take care of it.
I don't administer very many.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take care of it.
Thank you. You're being such a trooper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Six, 6, 6, 6. I know. She's probably harassing. They're probably like, she's gonna call.
oh, yeah, I just did.
I put your papers there.
sign in. You need to sign in. No, it said sign in on the agenda. Because they're, you know, that's the only law that they're following. Might as well do it.
No, I got a copy, it's okay.
Roaming process day.
I'm not on yet.
There, I bet.
There you go, sir.
No, you're good. No, it's on.
An hour.
Are we on? Yeah.
What time is
Good
it?
enough.
We're late. We can be late 3 minutes. Just get here. I was here and it was really here. Okay, it is officially 6:34. We're going to call the Planning Commission meeting to order. Let's start off our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer. Bubba, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely.
Todd, you want to lead us in prayers? Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this wonderful weather. Thank you for our health. Dear Lord, be with us as we go about the work of the county. Dear Lord God, please protect those who serve us. In His precious name we pray. Amen.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and approve our minutes, and then Max will have the floor. So we're approving our minutes from the August meeting, as we didn't have a meeting last month. So,
Motion to approve.
made a motion to approve, do we have a second?
Also include in that, a notation that, we didn't meet in September.
Okay, including in that, we're going to have a notation that we did not meet for the month of September. Would you still like to make a motion?
So moved.
Let's make the first motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second motion made by Todd. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. John's going to start the passing. Todd's first, and we'll bring it to me.
2 sheets.
Max, do you want to wait till we're done signing, or do you want to go ahead and get started? It's up to you. You don't have to rush.
You ready?
I mean, if you are, it's up to you. If not, you have 4 minutes to hang out with us if you want to. Right, 4? Yeah.
come in again to talk about the membership requirements. Last time I come in, somewhat prepared. I did a better job in front of the commissioners with, and everything I've got, literally comes out of the Indiana State website, not only all the book, which is the Indiana Planning and Zoning Guide. This is the newest edition. The only thing that's out yet that's not, the other stuff on the state website is page 1, chapter 1, which I couldn't find it on the Indiana State website any place but in here. So I'm gonna have to read off it, and then the rest of it, the ordinance numbers that I give you, you can look up yourself on the computer and look to see that it's the latest edition and it's not outdated or anything else. I'm gonna start up here, part 1, chapter 1, section 1.1. Note that even if a county does not have planning or plan commission established, municipalities within that county may still establish a plan commission exclusively for their jurisdiction. Throughout IC 36-7-4, that's the book, a reader will note the preceding terms advisory, area, and metro, followed by statutory language which applies to that type of planning commission. In case where there is no heading, the section applies to all 3 types of planning. Where that's going to come in is when I was in before the statute, Indiana Code 36-7-4-211, with membership changes to the commission, its heading starts off with area. It's only for an area board. We are an advisory board. The map shows we're an advisory board, just like 50 other counties in the state of Indiana. What applies strictly to area does not apply to the ability to change the board's makeup. The next part, chapter 1, section 1.2. Advisory planning commissions can serve cities, towns, and counties. Municipal advisory planning commissions serve the area within the corporate limits and in some cases are allowed jurisdiction over contiguous unincorporated territory up to 2 miles outside the corporate limits. That's what the city of Salem claims, but they don't claim the entire 2-mile fringe. They have it picked off in a geographic area where the lines are straight rather than being round. Here's the next part. County Advisory Plan Commission, that's what we are, serves the unincorporated territory within the county, excluding any extraterritorial jurisdiction claimed by the municipalities. That means once Salem claimed it on their map, the county has no jurisdiction there. So when I get to the point of you have to live within the jurisdiction of the board, if you're within what Salem claims, you don't qualify as a board member. That's just my argument here. Section 36-7-4-601. The legislative body having jurisdiction over a geographical area described in a zoning ordinance has exclusive authority. So the city of Salem, once they took that 2-mile fringe, what they've taken, which is in pink on the map that's on the county's website, they have exclusive control over that. We do not have joint jurisdiction in any way, shape, or form. It's only the city of Salem's control. And then the advisory planning commission means municipal planning commissions, and the county planning commission or metropolitan planning commission. Planning commissions, unless preceded by a qualified adjective, means advisory planning commission, an area of planning commission, or a metro development commission. The term does not include a regional planning commission, which they don't have. That just brought back into the, it has area in front of the 211, 36-7-4-211. Yes, sir.
No offense, but that's 4 minutes, so I'll let you know. It's 4 minutes, you said it's 4 minutes?
No, he's 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to skip to 216. 36-7-4-216, Section C, subject Section D, citizen members must meet one of the following requirements. the member must be a resident of the jurisdictional area of the planning commission. The member may also be required by statute to reside within an unincorporated area within the jurisdictional area of the planning commission. Or two, the member may be a resident of the county and also an owner of real property located in whole or in part within the jurisdictional area of the planning commission. The member may also be required by statute to own real property within the unincorporated area in the jurisdictional area of the planning commission. Section D, at least a majority of the total members of citizen members appointed to the planning commission must be residents of the jurisdictional area of the planning commission. That means they have to reside there too, not just own the property. The commission shall determine whether a citizen member meets all applicable residency requirements for appointment in accordance with the uniform rules prescribed by the commission. So what I'm coming down and asking is that you, as a board, make a vote where you believe that all the residential requirements, the requirement to own or reside within the jurisdictional limits of the board have been met. If you believe they've been met, even though contrary to the map that the county has on site and any other information that the surveyor may have as far as what ground people own, there's nothing I can do about it. But this is what the Indiana statute says, and that's what I'm asking you to look at and consider. And by the way, City of Salem has a resident on their, that's been appointed to their board. They'll live within the 2-mile fringe, but it's not taken in by their map. They live within 2-mile distance, but they're not within the geographical area that Salem claims. So that member could be traded with one of these members. They actually live within the area that's controlled by the county and not by the city, even though it's within 2 miles from the edge of the town.
Max, can I see your copies of your statutes that you're, just a second.
Too late was no more than the same political party. 216, section D. Section C is what I read. And those are downloaded from the state website rather than copying out of the book.
John,
Yeah, that's fine.
do you want me to make you copies of those, John?
Any other questions?
I've got them, I just don't have anything.
Okay.
Well, I didn't expect him to have access to it as fingertips. This was brought about when we talked to Ben Bowling about where Mark lived. And that was where we finally got started with it. And the reason we brought it up is because when the board was first established, there were 2 members, Terry McNeely and somebody else that didn't meet the qualifications, and we got only $60,000, and Ms. Tom Cyphers made the board correct with the state to meet that requirement that they reside within the jurisdiction of that board. And that's what I assumed was going on. I didn't realize that we varied from that. I'm not trying to be mean about it, but these ordinances are going to affect people, and they need to know that they're been done properly and above board the whole way. Because sometimes you're going to tell somebody no, and they're not going to like it. I'm done that times.
So I guess I have read this, I've been in conversation previously about this. I wasn't at the August meeting, but to hear if there was anything said about any of this, but looking at the state code, does all the members feel that they meet one of those things? Or if, I guess, we have to talk about it, or are we not gonna acknowledge? I haven't had any
Under
conversation.
subsection D,
Mhm.
the plan commission can, by motion or resolution, decide that all of its members meet the qualifications of the statute. That basically ends the discussion. You don't need to do anything. There's no matter pending before the plan commission at this point.
I would genuinely that is vote. Other than we have a citizen who's made a statement to you that it is believed there's an issue with the organization plans.
At the August meeting, I made the statement that based on the resolution that the Plan Commission passed and was adopted by the county commissioners, the Plan Commission has some jurisdiction over streets and roads within the 2-mile fringe. It's a situation of concurrent jurisdiction. In my opinion, I think that until somebody tells me different, or some court comes along and smacks my hand, then smack me forward. I would suggest thank Mr. Green and his appearance and move forward with the rest of your agenda.
Max, thank you. You guys, if you want to go and think about what Max has said, if you guys want to email in, if you don't feel like talking about it here, that's fine. Go and think about it. We can always meet about it next month or whenever, if you want to read it on your own. If you want me to ask Max for copies and you guys want to take them home, then we can do that. And if not, you can always call John and talk with him, he's our legal counsel. We follow what our legal counsel tells us, so. Is that okay with everyone?
And just a thought here. I know on some other boards I'm on, they call for an executive meeting, and that's behind closed doors. But simply, we discuss the issue, and then we come out on the floor and do a vote or a motion, which I think would be a smart idea. But that's, just saying.
There's only certain things for which you can have an executive session. I don't think this fits in one of those categories.
Yeah. I'm not sure either. But y'all just email. If we need to put on the agenda next month, we will. Okay? Alright. Move along. Okay, Travis said he didn't have anything for the agenda. John, you still don't have anything for the agenda?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Do you have any previous business? Go ahead.
No, I don't. I'll
Do we have anybody that needs to discuss or have any thoughts about any previous business that we have discussed until this point? Okay. This is on to, in August, we talked about the telecommunications facilities. And I don't know why I do this to myself, but I volunteer to do things. And I worked on blending the Washington County telecommunications ordinance that we had in the working document with the Jackson County one that we liked and the Floyd County one for the buffer zone, which is in the stable packet you guys have in front of you, which then takes you to the proposed Washington County telecommunications facility ordinance. There's some highlighted areas because I believe that those need to be discussed. You guys could think otherwise, and that's okay. But for instance, 517.2.4 of the proposed Washington County telecommunications facility abbreviates things. So like in the other one, it abbreviated it to this WCT, I'm pretty sure in the in the other documents it stood for like Floyd County or Jackson County communication towers or something like that, but we changed ours to telecommunications facilities. Would you guys like for me to just word that whole thing in there instead of abbreviate it? Or would you guys like that it's shorthand for WCT? Or would you like it to be Washington County Telecommunications Facility? I feel like
It's consistent.
yeah. So I would think it would be the whole thing myself, because that would make it consistent to me. But I thought I'd ask first. So that's what I'll do. And then at the bottom of that page, John, this question is probably for you. It talks, it's on this handout that was in that stack of papers where you sat.
Green.
Pass the drink.
Son.
Pass that. Right here. That one. You might want to read that one. We're on the same page. You see it, your pass it. Almost all of that. Like I'm a teacher.
Thank you.
In kindergarten. What? That talks about the Board of Aviation. But theirs was for like the Seymour Airport and stuff, whatever they called theirs for Seymour. So I incorporated the,
Freeman Field.
Yep.
So you're 517, 2.1.
yep. And it has to do with the airport overlay, and that's what this handout is. That was what this map. That's what the airport overlay, for anyone that didn't know, that's what it looks like.
Well,
I didn't know if it needed to stay worded like that or not.
I think it's fine the way it is, but John, he knows more about
Yeah,
layers of aviation. I've forgotten that, but in the case of these towers, a lot of these rules will be trumped by whatever the layers for aviation are required by the FAA. So yeah, I agree with what you said here. In other words, what I'm saying is if there's a conflict or discrepancy in what we have,
Okay.
the Board of Aviation Commissioners, they're familiar with the FAA rules, and they will tell us.
I think that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't think there's any problem with
yeah.
next page.
it. I'm not sure that the overlay district extends.
Me either, because I never really,
Well, like we talked at the last meeting before, the thing about it is the companies that put these towers up have
really have more
already,
rules than me.
they've already checked
Yeah.
to see if their airport overlays are going to disturb the
If they're over,
construction of the tower anyway.
yeah, if they're over 250 feet, they're going, they gotta have FAA clearance. You can stick it up.
Okay. So then if you go to the next page after that, it incorporates the chart. I think Andrew was the one who talked about the footages. Maybe at the August meeting. Right, we should make them all the same. Really on the different heights. Was that, we
What
talked
I,
about it or something?
what I remember is, I think it was the Jackson County, ordinance, that all of their heights were above all their heights required them to go to
Yeah,
the BZA.
and I kept the same heights that they didn't pick different ones at the last meeting. So
Good.
I didn't know if you guys wanted to change it, if you want them to go to BZA, whatever.
I'm fine with the same footage heights as Jackson County personally.
Everybody else? Is it the tower, and those zones, those are BZA?
What's Jackson County's, is that?
It's the same as ours, that's typed up right there. I just was gonna copy and paste it.
Second to the last page.
35, 35, 45, 35.
Yep.
And then after that, I have another I have another one to look at.
Um,
No, sorry.
Oh, yeah, wait.
You've got highlighted here, Emily, on 517.2.10. Oh, I'm sorry. 517.8.1. About the fence.
Yeah, I didn't know if you cared what fence it was or something.
Well, it says an 8-foot high security fence, and what I would consider a security fence would be a chain link fence.
Yeah.
But then it goes on to say, the fence enclosing the facility shall be wood, brick, or stone, which kind of is a contradiction somewhat. I don't think we need to require a,
That was part of,
whose was that?
Jackson County's and
Does not the word opaque?
Floyd County is an 8-foot high security fence that shall completely surround the tower and equipment building site.
I guess that would include.
But then, that was part E, but then whenever you went down through theirs, the fence enclosing the facility shall be opaque and of wood, brick, or stone construction. 8-foot tall wooden gates matching any wooden fence or painted to match a fence of another material shall be provided to access the facility.
And you're still in Jackson County?
That's Floyd.
Which was
So we had said that we wanted the buffering and zoning, the buffering and fence part from Floyd County, so then that's when I was like, I don't know if that's exactly what Washington County is looking for. So that's why I highlighted it.
I agree,
It's-
you highlighted it. I think that just,
Yeah.
everything highlighted, wipe that out, and what's not highlighted stays.
Is that good with everybody else?
Yep.
Okay. Here's the next one that we skipped, 517
Just
point,
take out the highlighted part.
517.8.1, the highlighted area.
Leave the first sentence, take out the last 3 sentences.
Also, on the same page, 517.6 says all parcels occupying the proposed tower locations must be adequate access as required by the Washington County subdivision control ordinance. Why would you put a tower in a subdivision? Just question.
Well, you could have some, radio towers that could be 40 or 50 feet.
Is that in our subdivision control ordinance?
Yeah, it's just addressing access
No,
based on,
but I don't think there's anything in it about that. Not that I read up on my, always on my subdivisions, but I,
Well, it's not in there, that's not part of the checklist.
Yeah, but this is about towers.
so do we need to make those coincide with each other then?
what do the other counties say about access? Only access needs to be, is for the tower company to maintain it.
It'll be on Jackson County F, and it just says the same thing, but it has to follow the Jackson County subdivision control ordinance. And their subdivision ordinance is,
Yeah, that's,
yeah, not ours. So I just didn't know if we needed to make those. While we're already on it, we need to make them line up with something. If we needed to look into it, just not worry about it. Just throwing it out there. I read it and thought, oh, we probably never touched that before. I had to guess.
John, isn't there some laws or a term that's, and I'm referring back to being a fence builder, to fences, but isn't there something called reasonable access? You have rights, the right to reasonable access, and this would fall under the same slot as these maintaining these towers. Obviously, there's going to be several times a year where somebody's going to come in and check or maintain, fix and repair, whatever.
I think the guy that puts the tower up is going to make sure that he's got access to his site. Before he turns a spade of dirt.
That's what I'm thinking.
So
do we even need to address?
I don't think there's any need for that statement. I mean, some guy's not going to put up a $500,000 tower.
Yeah, without something in writing.
Without some assurance of access, and no bank's going to advance him any money.
So is this just like a term for ingress and egress? Like that's what they're needing access for? And they just need like ingress and egress, like a in and out of where the tower's gonna be located? Is that what that's about? Must have adequate access?
Yeah, but that's all gonna be resolved, like John said, before they even move a shovel of dirt, you know. We're gonna have right-of-way rights and all that, so I don't even know why we need to address access. They address it in the contract with the landowner, right?
It's typically where you find it. And it would typically be in the form of a permanent easement.
Yeah.
Do you want to take it out completely, or you just want to leave that line in there just saying that you need to have access?
I think take it out.
Anybody else removing it?
Yeah.
We can renumber all of everything.
That's all right. Works for me. All right. And then, okay, I think that's it. Okay. Do you guys want to read this? We're not going to vote on it today. I'll retype it up and then we can look at it one more time. All right with everybody? I knew you would. I know you guys love reading this. You enjoy it.
Which one?
These. I'll retype it up again. And then that's what we can say yea or nay to. How's that? All right.
Well, the first thing you highlighted when you had this removal here was that, isn't there a section here that I see where there is a no removal section? Maybe not. Yeah, 517.7. Is that just,
I think that was on,
I think that was discussed.
Yeah, we discussed that in great length.
yeah, and then what I'm pointing out is that 517.1.2.
yeah.
Yes, highlight, she has, does that just need to be taken out?
I think it needs to be taken out, but then I think we were gonna add something in, but then we didn't. And then we talked about it, and I just put it on there just to, I think we said it would be part of the contract of it being put in, that you would have to have a plan to have it removed.
I think there was discussion on what
Or you would have to-
constitutes security.
Yeah, or if you had to put money into a fund that would pay to have it
How
removed.
much security is needed?
Yeah,
What form is it going to take? You can have security in the form of a performance bond, a surety bond. You can have it in the form of cash deposit. Many years ago, when Covered Bridge was being developed, they started turning dirt. Nobody bothered to tell them they were in the middle of a conservancy district. And after a few months of discussion on a form of security in that to protect against potential harms, 50,000 cash that's in escrow for a period. But, you know, if you say security, you know, it ought to have some relationship to what it might cost to, you know, if somebody went belly up and right now you've got an unused telecommunications building out on Beeline Road that hadn't been used in probably 25 years. bomb shelter proof. You know, it's been said there. That was a telecommunications facility at one point in time. Had that huge AT&T tower sitting next to it. That would be an example of, you know, a situation where you might want something new.
So,
The removal is subsection 517.7.
yeah, so in the middle.
I think that's what I meant to type in. I didn't know if that's the paragraph I wanted to keep.
In the middle of that section, it says the applicant shall demonstrate that funds will be available to the county for removal. That's not really, that wouldn't do anything in a court of law. That would, I mean, that's no bond, that's no anything. Like you said, if somebody goes belly up and bankrupt and there's a facility out there that everyone would like to have removed, but they have no money, then just because when they built the thing, they demonstrated at that time that funds were available, doesn't mean in 10 years when they go bankrupt that they're still available, right? So we need something a little bit more stringent in this, you think, John?
It says adequate funds shall also be provided to cover the county's administrative costs in the event that the applicant or its successor does not remove the telecommunications facility in a timely manner.
Let me reword the question. What would be our options to clarify this a little more so that in the event that someone did go belly up and left a tower standing somewhere that nobody wanted, we could ensure that there are funds there available to...
Well, rather than saying that there are funds, if you require them to post a performance bond,
Yeah,
like you have contractors do,
right?
the premium on that bond, relatively speaking, is fairly insignificant. Maybe like $4 a thousand the last time I saw one.
Yeah.
And you can require something of that fashion. You gotta figure out how long you want it to be valid. 10 years, 15 years, 50 years.
50 years. Can you write that up? Can you tweak this?
A 50-year bond? No, I can't write.
No, I mean tweak this in this removal section to reflect.
Yeah, I'll see what I can come up with.
Does that make sense? Everybody okay with that? Protection? Because it's pretty vague the way it's written.
The only thing I questioned is, so we have this for telecommunications towers to require some demonstration of funds. What about if you build anything else in this county, you need to demonstrate these funds for, we've talked about solar fields. Is it just going to be towers that we're?
No, I think it should be solar fields too. I thought we did that, but we address that.
I thought at one point solar fields were a part of the discussion in terms of what might get removed at some point. I know this is just, maybe what we ought to have is similar language in the section on solar farms. With that, I think is a more.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
My point is, whatever you come up with that, with our options.
And that was the decommissioning plan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't think that we had, I don't think it says in there anything about what we're talking about right now.
If we're gonna ask for some sort of demonstration of funds, I think we should make that uniform across everything we might talk about, removal or decommissioning, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I agree with that. What do you think, Mr. Abbott? Keep it consistent.
Any other questions over this printed document?
So other than tweaking that, everything else looks pretty good, doesn't it?
I'm still kind of hung up on
Right.
17.2.2. I'd like to leave that one open to the next meeting and let me go take a look at where the bottom level of that airport
Oh, okay.
zone is.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to have to deal with a certified letter every time somebody wants to stick up a dish antenna, and they've got to put it up on top of the roof.
Gotcha. All right. I have a note on there to let you look at it, so we won't do anything with it until the next meeting.
Let me look at the bottom level of that zone.
All right.
And
We can do that.
what I'm thinking is actually just putting in some number that says any tower construction in excess of X feet in that 5 mile zone generates. Mark Hartman lives in the middle of a whole bunch of trees. He decides to go dish, but he might have to. The trees on my side of the yard are 60 feet tall. But I'm not within 5 miles of the airport.
Guess we can move on to section 518, if you want to.
Yep.
So now on the screens and on the laptop. Temporary usage, we already talked down past yard sales. If you'd like to review that, we can, or we can move past it. Okay. We're going to start at seasonal sales. This would be 518.3, seasonal sales. And to be seasonal sales of Christmas trees, fireworks, etc. is permitted for up to 60 days per calendar year in zoning districts where similar retail sales are permitted as a permanent use. Does everybody think that's okay? 60 days per calendar year. That gives you from the beginning of November to the end of December to buy a Christmas tree. It says pretty accurate.
But I could sell fireworks for 60 days in July, I could sell Christmas trees for 60 days, and I could sell
Whatever else. For 60 days
or whatever.
in a calendar year. In that zone as permitted. Five 18.4.
518 point what?
Can you zoom on that view?
I can try if you,
In the past,
I think I have actually before.
perfect.
Is that better?
Yeah.
I can go maybe one more. Do you know what is in your screen? Okay, so you might have to type while I'm zoomed in. The possum might have to type again today. Okay, throw John off a little bit. Okay, temporary construction facilities may be allowed during construction activity on the same lot or within 300 feet of the construction site. These facilities shall not be within a required setback or buffer yard. Temporary construction facilities shall be removed when construction is complete or ceases for 60 or more consecutive days. What's that? A temporary construction facility, is that like
I think it's like
the trailer thing?
That's what.
You okay with that, Travis? As far as enforcing?
Well, it's just construction trailer, right?
Is that what it is?
You're talking about.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm assuming,
So it sounds like,
yeah, I mean,
is that normal?
yeah,
Okay.
You like it?
yeah, sure.
Okay, moving on. Temporary home sales facilities. You can read that one too. Temporary home sales facilities may be allowed for residential subdivisions until either building permits have been obtained for greater than 90% of the lots in the preliminary plat, or 3 years from the date of approval of the final plat for the most recent section of the development, whichever is less. A maximum of one temporary sales facility, trailer, and/or model home shall be allowed for a maximum of 1 year from the date of which the building commissioner issues a permit. The building commissioner shall ensure that there is an adequate infrastructure, lighting, parking, and landscaping to support the temporary use before issuing the permit. Temporary structures shall be removed before the 3-year time period is up if the use of the structure ceases for 60 consecutive days. At the end of the 3-year time period, or whenever the use ceases for 60 consecutive days, the property owner shall remove any temporary sales trailer and any associated signs and lighting, plus restore any residential structure to its intended function as a single-family dwelling. Does that sound acceptable?
I have a stupid question.
How about it?
When they say temporary home sales facility, are they talking about something a realtor?
I think that's like a, isn't that like a,
Like a model
A
home,
model home.
model
A
home
model
sales lot.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
yeah,
You've been in it.
Yeah.
You've signed up for them free weekends.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
I think that's what they,
Yeah, they want to go.
right, is that what that is talking about?
Timeshares.
Yeah.
So that is what it is then.
I don't think it's a timeshare.
No, it's
I-
not time.
Well,
I think
I
it's
know.
like if you're building in a subdivision.
It's like down at Champions Point.
Yeah, they have to have,
Fuzzy's
it's
operation.
an office that is temporarily used, it's going to be sold as a home later.
And then that moves down to the next section below it.
Do you like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple, that's what we're using now.
Okay, so that's a,
This is what you're using now?
No, going on to, no, not that part, she's on
the next,
518, I think.
518, okay. So this is just for a model home. So like this is if you make a subdivision and you're gonna build every single home to look exactly like this one. You come in and you look at lot 4. And your home could look just like this one if you wanted it.
I have a friend that's building in a subdivision. I went with her to go and do the model home, and there was an office in there, and the ladies that worked in there showed her what color flooring options she had and all of that stuff, and it was very nice.
That sounds nice.
It's very nice.
So maybe we should leave that there? I mean,
I mean,
it could happen.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
because
Can you sell the model home?
That's
Well, there you
the
go.
goal. Yeah, that's the goal, that eventually that model home can be sold once all the other.
That would be like the last one.
It'd be one of the last ones, yeah, once you
Cool.
mostly got things done.
I
Awesome.
think with Moonglow Estates over in Scottsburg, northwest corner of Scottsburg.
Yeah, I think they have one.
Yeah, they've got
And I think it's good. When I'm looking at a mini barn, I like to go in and look at the different floor designs that they have out there to know what I want. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. Okay, we're gonna move along to temporary residence. Travis, that's where you said this comes in?
Mhm. I think it's what, R107, I think.
Yep. Okay. We'll read. You wanna know what we already have, or do you wanna know what we have on this working document? Travis says what we already have seems to be working pretty good. What do you guys wanna know first?
You have it there halfway down, but I don't know, I mean, the top part of it, I just keep R107.1 in. How many is there? What is it, point?
1, 2.1 and point 2.
I thought there was 4.
You have 4, but
Yeah.
on there we only have 2 little.
I know, yeah, I see that now.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to the other.
So I'll read what we have on our document, and then I'll read what Travis has. That's already being used. Okay. So for temporary residence, we have 518.6.1, single-family construction/renovation is a type 2 manufactured home or mobile home may be allowed if it meets the standards for a permit to be issued as a temporary residence on a lot where there is a permit to construct or renovate a single-family home for a maximum of 2 years per International Residential Code, passed by the county R107.1 general. The building official is authorized to issue a permit for temporary uses. Such permits shall be limited as to time of service, but shall not be permitted for more than 180 days. The building is authorized to grant extensions for demonstrated cause. So that in parentheses is exactly what we already have in place. So that could probably go ahead and stay. So then the second one is dependent care. But
I'm confused. So what's in parentheses, or in parentheses is what we currently have.
yeah,
The stuff above it is what was in this draft, chapter 5.
I don't know, it was already there. So I didn't type it in.
So you didn't type in
Nope.
the stuff.
I think
in
KK already
parentheses,
did it.
And you typed that in.
Nope, I think this came straight from KK. I didn't put it in, yeah. This is exactly how it was when we got the document. Yeah, I don't know how it got it there. Unless KK did it during one of our meetings before she typed it and gave it to us.
I thought of that, Emily, I like, they had, what I seen, you had all 4 sections in there, what you're reading. Like R107 point, whatever, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then they weren't, and that was gonna substitute in for 518.6.1.
I think it goes down farther. We have 6.1, 6.2, then we have temporary structures of as 518.7. Then we have tourist home or cabin. For facilities, parking, and safety after that. Do they all go together, sir?
No, just that,
Okay.
just what you were looking at, the one that's highlighted I got, that was just supposed to stay there. I thought at 518.6.1 and then the rest.
So for temporary residents,
Right.
would you like to have all four of those under those? Would you like to have .6.1, .2, .3, and .4?
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying, right?
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be substituted for that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys want to go ahead and read the .2 is what it is? Or do you want to go ahead and change it to what we have?
It'd be good just to simplify, because that's what we're using already anyway, so.
Sure. Does it work for you guys?
Yeah, just add it to it. Point 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's already written, just needs to be added.
Travis, do we need this paragraph right here?
That's up to you guys, I don't know, you know.
Does it apply to anything? Shall be allowed to the temporary residence if it meets the standards of a permit to be issued under the following circumstances. If it is unusual providing care to a dependent relative, or to provide a continuous on-site care, approval may be granted by special exception from the BZA. So this is saying if, like, my grandma lives in a home and I need to set in a type 2 manufactured home or mobile home on site to help take care of that person, if it would be temporary only.
This type 2 definition, I've tried to do some research on it, and there's like 2 or 3 different definitions, and
Yeah.
What do you consider a type 2 manufactured home?
Just, yeah, go ahead.
It's not a
I'll make
mobile home?
well, it's a mobile home, but I don't know where that even comes from. I mean,
You mean you can't define it?
I couldn't find anything on it. I mean, it would talk about it like different building specifications, and then you'd have another, I don't know who can come up with type 2, because then you had another definition was type 2, so it's kind of a mystery to me. I'm not sure. I mean.
Can you give an example of a type 2? Who defines this?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
I'm struggling with this altogether. Now I'm going back to 6.518, 6.1, single family construction or renovation. If I were to buy an acre lot in the county and say and get a permit to build a home there, and then park a mobile home there, and decide I never want to build a home, in 2 years you're going to come tell me I have to move my mobile home. I don't know, according to this, you can have that mobile home there for a maximum of 2 years.
Well, that's not, it wouldn't be, because mobile homes would be considered permanent. It's under temporary.
It's under temporary.
No, if you're bringing in a mobile home, like a HUD mobile home or something like that, or a mod, that's considered, that wouldn't even be under this category, because that's not temporary.
Because it has a HUD.
Yeah, that's.
So
it's set up.
this type 2 manufactured home doesn't have a HUD plate. A type 2 manufactured home wouldn't have a HUD plate.
Right, just throw out the type 2, because I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
For sure, but the temporary structure, correct, would not have a HUD sticker on it, HUD or mod. It'd be like a camper.
So like an RV
Yeah.
or.
I Googled it and it didn't come up with anything either.
This makes more sense if we're talking about an RV or.
That's what it's supposed to be, yes.
But, yeah, the way it sounds like to me when it says manufactured home or mobile home, that sounds like.
I'm putting in a double way.
Yeah.
That's why I saw that second one.
Temporary, put a double wide here.
Yeah, why would you just put one in for a couple months? That's what I thought when I read it.
How can we include a term in an ordinance that we can't define.
That's the reason I just wanted to go with the R107 and
Table that out.
stick it, substitute it for this, and then that's going to eliminate the manufactured home, mobile home, and just go with our temporary.
Do we even need a section addressing dependent care? Isn't that gonna fall in under temporary residence anyway?
It's up to you guys, whatever y'all want to do. What is it? Can you pull that up a little bit further, Emily? What's that 518.7 sign, say?
I'll scroll up. You guys have more on that screen than I do on my own screen. That's what it says.
See, there's part of that 107 again. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, this is just what was sent to us from KK. This hasn't been touched from anyone. So,
I think when I talked to her, I think she put that in there at the bottom of both those, if I remember, but not the rest of it. I'm not sure.
so Travis, according to these, it's highlighted. Your temporary structures would include what type of,
Like campers and RVs.
that's it. No, whatever those things, no Miller mini barns, no,
No,
just a camper and RV is a temporary structure.
they fall under the 180 day.
Is that written in this?
Should be. Because that's anything that doesn't have a HUD plate or mod sticker.
So why do we need any of this if it's already being addressed in 107.1, 2, 3, and 4?
We need to transfer this to our new one. I think. And
That was
maybe
like
we need
another,
to,
that was like another section you guys did
yeah,
in the front of that. What'd you say, C, IRC code, whatever?
yeah.
I can't remember what that was, but you've done the same
But
thing.
maybe when we do this, we can clarify that a temporary structure in Washington County would only be a camper or an RV, and not a Miller mini barn, or a mobile home, or a shed, or, what else are people trying to live in for temporary structures? A tent.
So if I was building a house and it was gonna take me 2 years, I could only live in a mobile home. I couldn't live in I couldn't pull a manufactured home onto that property and live in it until my house is built.
You could.
That's not what we said, is it?
You could, but that's not going to fit under temporary structures. Now, when, like people right now who are building their home, they're living in camper or RV, you know, they're coming in with, as long as they're making progress on their home, you know, we give them extensions past 180 days. Now, if you, on a mobile home, that's different. That's permanent. That wouldn't fit under your temporary definition, or what she's got. It's two different things.
And then Danielle's example, if you're building a home and you bring in a mobile home that has a HUD plate, you can take 10 years to build this home, and they never have to get an extension because they have.
Right, now, it would go on, but you would get a regular building permit for that. Yeah, it wouldn't be a temporary permit.
So, that's why we need to clarify what temporary is, right?
Yeah, that's why we need to clarify what temporary is, because I could have my manufactured home on there, you give me a building permit for that. I get that set up, I get a building permit to build my home.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that's over, and then now I can have 2 homes on that same single family.
You could, if you have septic, yeah, you could.
No,
Yeah, that's not
no,
gonna
you're going to be in violation of your rules for lot size.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 acres on.
One of them's going to have to stay temporary.
that rule's, no, that rule's only in subdivisions, that 2 acre deal. Because that's what I said, as long as it qualifies for septics, both of them, and it's not in the that's subdivision, that 2 acre, well, that's subdivision, that's different.
So as long as the health department rules that the septic size, the septic
Todd,
field.
can you make me a copy of this so I can type this in?
Both of them, yeah.
Excuse me?
Can you go make me a copy of this so I can type this in?
Certainly.
You're off.
Just seeing if that's the plan, I mean, hopefully as a homeowner, you're going to, if you're thinking you're going to stay and the home's not going to leave,
Guys, we need to
If
change
if
this.
you're gonna live in a
It's making me
mobile home,
Why not?
It's giving me like anxiety.
you're out,
Live in my world.
nor are you gonna set on a foundation. If you're building a stick built on the side. If we accomplish it.
the 180-day permit for RV camper, now, yeah, it's going to be road ready, but if you go to the actual living in a mobile home and it goes up over 180 days with the HUDs, well, the mods aren't going to play in effect here, just not going to do that. If it's going to be a HUD home, yeah, the wheels and it's going to be tied down and it's going to be secure. Wheels are off, locking is done. But I didn't think that, I was just going off temporary structures for what that R107 was.
So I recommend we change that. We'll just make temporary RVs.
Why don't you just strike that and
We are
then
into it.
substitute R107,
And then clarify before we even start
like
that,
Danielle said, yeah.
just RVs and campers is temporary housing. That's it. Because if you need to set, because when I think of mobile homes and manufactured homes, they have to be set, and if you're setting it, then I think it's permanent.
That's, well, it goes in front, yes.
And you don't set an RV or a camper, you just park it and level it up and call it that. Or in my head, that's what, I'm sure it's a lot harder, but
It's like RVs or campers that are set out in the floodplain or something like that. They have to be, they're temporary structures, they have to be road ready in case of a flood or whatever, to back up, hook onto them and pull them out of there. It's the same, basically the same concept.
so we need to make a note on this area that we're gonna change it to match R107, 1 through 4, right?
Correct.
Okay, project engineer.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
So you like the way that R107, 1 through 4 reads now, and you don't think it needs any more clarification to exclude?
You wanna read it? Here's our copy, it's just, I have to have it back by the end of the
I knew I should have made 3 copies.
You said Andrew's not trustworthy, you won't get back.
It works well for the county, the people seem to be happy with it, so. There's several.
Yeah.
That's it. Or do you want to clarify what it is? It's not up to just us, but I'll just ask. I just feel like maybe we put one spot in there that clarifies that campers and RVs are temporary housing. And it's written out there. And then nobody can say that Washington County never said that it's temporary housing, you can't live in it permanently. That's all I'm saying. And we keep saying you can't live in it permanently. If you put it in there one time, it's in there. allowed to do that, John? Can you not put it in there?
Campers and what?
RVs, if you put in there that that's what temporary housing is it's temporary housing. We're struggling in that area.
I don't like calling campers and RVs housing.
We call them temporary.
Because they're not.
They're not housing.
It's either a,
We call it temporary residence. That's what it's categorized as, temporary
Like
residence.
temporary uses?
no, it's what it is, a recreational vehicle, period. I still think we need to define, just in order to enforce these things, define what I call a portable structure, which is your mini barns
Yeah.
and your things that are being sold as permanent dwellings that are illegal structures. Anything that's not on wheels, that's delivered on a rollback, is a portable structure. Like John Mead's tool shed that he's got, that he thinks nobody knows nothing about.
I pulled electric into it.
It's permanent.
But you're not living in it.
You don't know that. It's got loft space.
And how much trouble it's in.
Okay, it's a doghouse.
Does it have a TV?
It's got electric.
We'll leave it at that.
Does it have running water?
Not at the moment.
Oh,
We're asking questions, really.
You know, a smokehouse has got to have a place to clean the meat.
No, you clean the meat outside of the smokehouse, and you put the meat in the smokehouse to be smoked.
So I feel like this R107 temporary structures covers any temporary structure, right? Like anything that would be listed in this, like the sale of Christmas trees. According to this, Travis has the ability to permit that right now. Any temporary structure or and uses. He can do that right now. Somebody comes in and says, yep, we want to do Christmas trees, he can say, yeah, that's fine. If somebody comes and says they want to do fireworks, Todd wants to do fireworks, he doesn't like Todd, he can say no. There's nothing on here saying that, yes, fireworks are fine, yes, Christmas trees are fine, that, yes, an RV is fine, but a mini barn isn't fine. I think that's what gets me a little bit on that, is that this isn't about residence. This is just about any kind of temporary use. Where this on the computer is specific to residence.
Well, you have a problem with that, and I still have a problem with a temporary residence. It looks to me like we have to define forms of dwellings before you can even make rules to enforce temporary structures. That's my problem. I said this from the very beginning. If it's not a stick-built home, if it's not a modular home on a foundation, if it's not a mobile home If it's not an RV, and if it's not a utility shed, then what is it? Then it's a utility shed that someone's trying to live in, or a so-called camper, which I don't even think we ought to use the word camper. To me, it's an RV. So until you define those things clearly, I mean,
Do we not have a definition section?
no, but we still don't even know what a type 2 manufactured home is.
Yeah, well, I Googled it.
What is it?
And there are a couple of different places says basically the same thing, that it is a transportable structure built prior to June 15, 1976. The effective date for the Federal Mobile Home Construction and Safety Act of 1974. That's larger than 500 square feet and designed to be used as a year-round residential dwelling.
Prior to what date?
76.
June 15, 1976.
But don't they have ordinances in place that you can't place a home older than such and such year?
So I don't know.
That's the definition of a type 2 manufactured home built prior to 1976.
500, what? Is there more than 500 square feet?
Did you say, what size? Less than 500 square feet?
Larger than.
Larger than 500 square feet.
What else
I remember reading that, but, I mean, we don't have mobile homes coming in here that are 50 years old. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, it just didn't make any sense to me, but
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give you all homework. By the next meeting, I want you all to come up with what you think a definition is of a temporary residence. Okay? Can we do that? You can write it on a napkin even, or you can just,
I can answer that one right now.
well, you said yours.
Something that's not permanent is temporary.
Oh, we're running a little bit more details. That's what we're trying to come up with at the next meeting. Does that work for everybody?
I guess I would like, yes, it does.
And then if we do that, we can move forward with this stuff. Because if we can help with that is, then we can make these fall underneath the category of whatever that is. Right? And then the next meeting, you all can work on what a portable building is for Todd. He thinks so. Yeah, work on that, Bubba.
I've got my home out there, I can never know.
Does that mean you would like a motion to adjourn?
I'm gonna throw it out there.
That's why we're going to go everything before you adjourn.
Oh, before we adjourn.
Your next regularly scheduled meeting will be the night before election day.
Oh, yeah, that's probably.
Is that a problem for anybody?
I don't know, I just throwing it out.
Our next meeting is November 7th. Is that right?
7th November.
Does that affect anybody? Todd?
I'm fine with that.
John, is that all right with you?
Rock and roll.
All right, let's do it. Okay.
No, you said wrong.
I said rock and roll.
Oh,
I'll go rock and roll. Yeah. Make a motion to adjourn.
Bo made a motion to adjourn the meeting.
already did that.
Danielle, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All
Who
opposed?
seconded that?
Danielle? Nay. Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned at 7:58.